Cluster reinitialized. Neural scans of user indicate disconnection from collective. Network unavailable. Enabling black box protocol. Prototype development resumed.
Hi there, my name's Octo. I'm the team lead and designer for the Prototech mod team for Subnautica. You might have heard of us from YouTubers like Aki, The Last Bacon, or Insomnia, whose channels I've linked in the comments, or from the Prototype Project's announcement trailer in this channel. A few weeks ago, our team hosted a live Q&A in our Discord server covering some frequently asked questions about our flagship project, the Prototype. And in this video, I'll be covering some of the more important questions, alongside some extra bonus information about the project that hasn't been revealed anywhere else. All of the info covered in this video is also available in our Discord server, which you can check out to speak to me, the rest of the team, and other people interested in the project. The team sometimes even streams development of the mod live in the server's voice channels, so if you're interested in seeing how a mod like this is actually made, feel free to pay us a visit. Hold up, Editing Octo here. My team wanted to remind you that the Prototype is still very much a work in progress, and although this video does cover a large portion of what the mod adds, do keep in mind that everything shown in this video is alpha footage, and is very much subject to change and reworking over time. I'm actually completely remaking the Prototype's model, so hopefully that gives you a good idea of how many things can change before release. Anyways, back to the video. So, before I get on to the Q&A, I need to introduce what the mod actually is, for those of you who don't know. The Prototype is a precursor-based mod for Subnautica, which has been in development for about 8 months, and it centralizes around the titular Prototype Submarine, an ancient piece of technology from the precursor's past, which the player discovers and develops through the course of the mod's story progression. And that's about as far as I can go in terms of backstory without getting into spoiler territory. The mod features a completely unique vehicle system, developed using a brand new submarine library made by our programmer Indigo Coder. This allows us to make more complex features than any submarine ever added into Subnautica, which you'll hear more about when I get onto the Q&A. Even though the Prototype is technically a vehicle mod, it also adds a ton of custom resources and equipment to construct and use within the Prototype, such as the Photon Emitter, a deployable device which lights up entire biomes around it. This video is also the official announcement that the Prototype will be adding not only a brand new story, but 4 unique and custom precursor facilities for the player to explore as they follow the breadcrumbs left behind by the precursors in order to figure out what the Prototype project really is and why it was never finished. Now that's enough exposition. On to the questions. Now, of course, with any gaming project, the first question on people's minds is, when can I get it? And, of course, with any gaming project, the answer is... we don't know. We fully believe the mod will be released during 2025, but if you're a dedicated Subnautica fan, you'll know that 2025 is also the release date of the Subnautica 2 Early Access, which I know we're all looking forward to trying out. At this point, we just don't know how long development will take, or if the Subnautica 2 Early Access will release before we do. If you're curious about how development is going, though, and want to get a rough idea of how much we've already done, the Prototech Discord server has a channel which shows a live feed of every change made to the project's GitHub page, which a few people have used to get early information about what the team is working on. The way that the player unlocks the sub has been implemented for quite a while now. If you've played through Subnautica before, you might remember a strange moon pool in the lower section of the quarantine enforcement platform. This is where the player will unlock, construct, and upgrade the Prototype. So, as soon as you can get to this spot on the map, you can unlock the sub. But getting all the resources to build it will take a lot longer. This does mean, though, that the Prototype will have no fragments. That means no tedious roaming around the map looking for that one piece of the Cyclops engine fragment that you know is in the mountains, but you're too scared to go there, so you just kind of hang around the edge waiting for the Reapers to go away, but you know that you'll eventually have to... We needed to figure out a way to get the player to be able to craft precursor technology, so yeah, we added a number of custom resources specifically for the Prototype. The main item players will use to construct Precursor tech is called the Alien Modular Framework. The design is inspired by Precursor architecture, and the player will need to craft many of them for almost every upgrade the prototype has, in addition to the sub itself. There are also a few energy-based items, such as the Ion Prism, essentially a super concentrated version of the Ion Cube, as well as the reintroduction of the Ion Matrix, an old item cut from Subnautica, which the prototype re-adds. We currently don't have any naturally spawning resources like Emerald or Cobalt like you see in mods like Return of the Ancients, because we haven't really found a reason to yet. This is one of the most common questions we've been asked about the sub, and we've changed our minds about it a couple of times, but the short answer is no. But we do plan on adding an upgrade that lets the player teleport their vehicles to the prototype if that vehicle has a certain upgrade equipped, which will even hopefully work with modded vehicles made with Vehicle Framework. That is, if we figure out how to actually, do that. The reason the prototype doesn't have a dock like the Cyclops is because, well, think about it. The precursors are essentially machines themselves, meaning that they technically don't even need to drive submarines. They could just download their brains to it like we see in Below Zero. The prototype is also a submarine designed for driving in the void, inspired, of course, by mods like Return of the Ancients and Call of the Void, which both add, content to the void. This means that a lot of the time spent driving the sub will be thousands of meters underwater, past the maximum crush depth of the sea moth or the prawn suit. The prototype is designed with compatibility in mind first and foremost. The simple reason being that it's a vehicle, and vehicles are only useful if there are places to drive it to. That's why the prototype will be compatible with as many mods as possible, to make sure that there are as many places to drive the sub as possible. There are even 2 mods that already have special integration, which adds content and story to the prototype if you have them installed, so you can enjoy the sub with lots of other modded content. And if the player has the Architect library installed, the prototype's recipes will actually change to incorporate the new items and tech. Upgrades are where the prototype sub really shines, and are completely unique to any other sub. When you first create the prototype, it'll be a massive precursor submarine capable of diving deep underwater and being powered by ion technology, but it won't have a lot of abilities. However, there are 4 upgrade categories, each with 2 to 3 individual upgrades the player can unlock as they discover and explore each corresponding facility, those being Hull, Engine, Defense, and Interceptor. After downloading the upgrade schematics from each facility, you'll be able to craft and install each upgrade independently for that section until you find the next facility. This means that the player can directly make their sub more useful by expanding the story and picking up where the precursors left off with the prototype project. One of my personal favorite upgrades is called the Maintenance Droids module. It deploys a fleet of robots to crawl around and repair your sub from the outside after it's taken damage. The Light Distortion Field is a defense upgrade, which cloaks the sub in shadows to sneak past and disorient Leviathans. And for engine upgrades, there's the Ion Generator module, which lets the player power down the sub and have it slowly regenerate fuel over time. Make sure not to leave it unattended for too long though, because you might accidentally overload the generator and cause a fire. Finally, my favorite part of the prototype is the infamous Archway Interceptor, an onboard teleporter that lets the player warp to any archway in the crater, provided they activate it first, and warp back to the sub within 2 minutes. After unlocking every upgrade, the prototype will be an extremely useful vehicle for exploration both in and out of the crater. We just have to make sure that we don't accidentally make it too powerful. And that's it for the main points covered in the prototype Q&A. If you'd like to see more videos like this where we choose questions from the community and answer them, please let us know down in the comments alongside any questions you have about the mod or the team that you'd like to see covered in a video. Also, let us know if you'd like to see devlogs, where we give insights into what we're actually doing day to day, because between 3D modeling precursor structures, programming vehicles, to voice acting, 2D art, and more, there's lots to talk about, and your feedback is incredibly helpful. We can't promise that we'll actually make devlogs since the mod is already mostly finished, but in the run-up to releasing it, we'll certainly consider it if we see enough support for the idea. That being said, check out the prototype's announcement trailer on screen, and make sure to like the video to support the project. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.